Hello, I'm William McCracken, and I represent American Mutual Benefits. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. In collaboration with your employer, we would like to present to you a great opportunity to increase the size of your paycheck. In other words, put more money in your pocket. Our slogan is, "It's your money, keep more of it," which can be done by using a unique opportunity provided by Congress to reduce your payroll taxes. It is now possible for you to use your out-of-pocket medical and child care expenses as a tax deduction. In other words, anytime you have to pay out-of-pocket for prescriptions, co-pays, or anything medical, dental, or vision, you can deduct it from your taxes. Now, if you file a 1040 tax return, that's the return where you itemize your expenses, you may think, wait a minute, I can claim my medical expenses on that form and use them as a tax deduction at the end of the year. Well, you're right, but there is a penalty. You see, if you wait until the end of the year and list your medical expenses on your tax return, you must also deduct 10% of your adjusted gross income from those expenses, which means that for 99% of the people filing, they will have no medical deduction. And for the 1% that do have something left after the penalty, it'll only be a fraction of what they started out claiming. Fortunately, there is a better way, but it is only available through employers. Congress, because they are so nice, or, well, maybe because they want you to keep voting for them, created an opportunity to claim all of your out-of-pocket medical, dental, vision, and some of your child care expenses anytime during the year, and without having to suffer the 10% penalty. Here's what a couple of employees say about the plan.
I recently got in a car accident and I had so many bills for my doctors. I had to go to the chiropractor. I had a lot of visits, and I was able to run all of these bills through the AMB plan. And it's been great seeing my paycheck get bigger that way.
I like the fact that when I turn in my receipts to the AMB plan, my paycheck ends up bigger because I get the taxes back on those medical expenses.
When I signed up for this program, when I became eligible at this job, I was really excited about it. For just $5 a month, I was eligible, it made me able to start putting my medical expenses through this plan and be able to save on taxes. For several months, I didn't have any medical expenses, and it was starting to bug me. And I was like, what am I doing? Why am I paying for this, plan I'm not using? And then all of a sudden, I had a back problem. And it was like, oh my God, I spent $600 in about 3 weeks just trying to get my back fixed. And I put all of those expenses through the plan, and in that one incident, I paid for all of my fees, right, that I had been paying for the entire year.
The plan they're talking about is the Now Plan, which is a voluntary plan. You don't have to participate, but before you say no, you may want to consider, would you rather have your tax money returned to you, or are you willing to just let the government keep your money? They usually spend far more than they collect, so I'm sure they'd love to keep your money. But as we say, it's your money, keep more of it. I remember one young man saying in a meeting we had with his company, I'm young, healthy, have no dependents, and never go to the doctor. I don't think I need this plan. We agreed with him. And then a little later in the meeting, he said, well, wait a minute. You mean I can deduct dental expenses? We said yes. And then he said, I have to pay $800 toward a dental bridge next week. Does that mean I get back over $200 of my tax money? And we said, that's right. He concluded with, I'm in. The fact is, everybody benefits from this plan once you get in the habit of saving your out-of-pocket medical, dental, and vision expenses. Here's how the Now Plan works. You fill out the employee enrollment form, which lists your name, address, etc., which is in the red box area, and the names of family members that you want covered in the area that is covered by the blue box. Family members are those who you claim as dependents on your tax return. If you can't remember the exact birth dates of some of your dependents, that's okay. Just write the month and year, or at least the year. Be sure to write clearly. Please pay particular attention to your Social Security number and your email address. Then, whenever you have an out-of-pocket medical, dental, or vision expense, you fill out a claim form. The top marked in red is your contact information, and the bottom, which is marked in blue, is or are your claims. Be sure to attach copies of your receipts and then fax it or scan it to American Mutual Benefits. That's it. That's all you have to do, and your paycheck gets bigger. AMB's fax number and email address are on the claim form. A couple of things about the claim form. Please be sure your name and email information is clearly readable. Now, your Social Security number only has to be the last four numbers when you're filling out the claim form. Once AMB receives your claim, they will review it for IRS compliance. If there's any question, they will contact you, which is why it's important for your application to be filled out clearly. The questions are usually about things like your receipts aren't attached, or you're claiming something that isn't allowed, such as gym memberships or diet foods. Now, I know you would think that you should be able to deduct things like diet foods, which keep you healthy, but the IRS only allows those things that are a treatment or where you have a medical provider's letter or prescription. Now, medical providers include anyone that is licensed by your state, such as doctors, dentists, chiropractors, or acupuncturists. On American Mutual Benefits website, it shows some of the things that can be deducted per the IRS, and there's a lot. Another time that we might need to contact you is if you're trying to claim a drug or medicine that wasn't prescribed by a medical provider. It used to be you could claim all drugs and medicines that were sold over the counter, but the Affordable Care Act has changed that. Now you must have a prescription for all drugs and medicines. Once the claims are received and reviewed, they are summarized on a report that is sent to your company's payroll department once a month to be used as a tax deduction for you. Your employer never sees what actually creates the deduction, only the dollar amount of your deduction. It's important because you don't want your company in your private affairs. Let me give you an example of how it might work. Over a period of a month or several months, you claim $200 in medical expenses. Once the claim has been processed and entered into payroll, the first $200 of your paycheck will be paid to you tax-free. If your claim happens to be larger than your payroll check, then you will receive your check completely tax-free. And if there is a balance of your deduction, it will be applied to your next check. If you wish to claim dependent care, which for most folks is child care, you would fill out the dependent care application form. I won't take the time now to go over the dependent care plan in this general meeting, but your employer will have a handout explaining the plan. However, know this, if you are paying $400 or more a month for child care, you can probably save at least $100 or more in taxes a month, which puts more money in your pocket. There is a cost to belong to the Now plan, but it is a fraction of what it saves you. Usually, it will cost you $5 a month or $60 a year. However, that payment is also tax deductible through the plan, so the real cost is about $45 a year. When you file a claim, there's a 10% fee, but your company will pay half of that. So you only pay 5%, and your savings will always be much, much more than that. The break-even point is that if you have about $180 to $200 in out-of-pocket medical, dental, and vision expenses for the year, you will have covered the cost of the plan. We had one employee who really didn't use the plan for several years, but then had a $10,000 plus out-of-pocket medical expense and saved over $4,000 with the Now plan. Think he got his money's worth? Now, the IRS does require that you must be covered by some type of medical insurance. It doesn't have to be with your employer as long as you are covered. Now, please note, you cannot claim health insurance premiums as a deduction through this plan. If you have questions about deductions, you can always contact American Mutual Benefits. Now for some good news. Your family, those who you claim as dependents, are covered by the Now plan at no additional cost. Think of the Now plan like car or life insurance. When you buy those, you really don't plan to get in a car accident or die, but they're great if you need them. How much more likely are you to have a medical expense rather than die or have a car accident? And there's no limit on the amount of medical expenses you can claim. Remember, this plan works with medical, dental, vision, first aid, and medical supplies, as well as childcare. Running your out-of-pocket expenses through this plan is a huge money saver. I don't think I've ever met an employee who wasn't happy that they joined the Now plan. Once you've enrolled in the plan, you don't have to enroll each year because the plan rolls over automatically every year. Also, you can only claim expenses that have occurred when you're on the plan, not any that happened before the plan. Your employer has all the forms you need to enroll in the Now plan. But to help, here are some commonly asked questions. The answers to the questions are at the end of the question, with the exception of a couple. One of which is, what is the definition of drugs and medicines? The definition is any substance other than a food used in the prevention, diagnosis, alleviation, treatment, or cure of disease. So generally, that would be anything taken or applied to the body, such as cold medicines, pain relievers, rash lotions, or vitamins. Now, the other question is, what if my spouse has a plan with their employer? And that's fine. You can have more than one plan. The important thing is to remember is that you cannot claim the same expense on both plans. That's called double dipping, and that's a no-no. I appreciate the time you've taken to listen to me, and I hope we can repay you by helping you put more money in your paycheck. Or as we like to say, it's your money. Keep more of it.